Welcome back to the Venom Workshop. So today what we're going to be doing is, I can't believe we haven't done this video before. I'm blown away. We're going to change the clutch pack on this X22R. And I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to do it as the whole pack. And I'm also going to show you how to take all the pads out and what to do to reinstall them if you just buy the pads. We're not going to have to remove much. We are going to take the side fairing off just so it's out of our way. So we're going to take this fairing off here, and then we'll get the side cover off. You are going to need one specialty tool that probably you won't have, and it's called a bipolar socket. I will actually get them to put the link to that socket in the description for the video, because you're going to need that socket for sure. I'll show you what it looks like. And it is really called a bipolar socket. I know it's weird, but anyway, so I'm gonna grab my tools and let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get all this fairing off. We have to remove the seat first. And right now you're just gonna need a metric Allen key set and a Phillips screwdriver. And that's all we're going to need to start. And you're going to need your number 4 Allen key. All the fairing bolts on this bike are number 4. And something to put your bolts and nuts in. It can be a container or a magnetic dish or something like that. It doesn't really make a difference. Just something to we can throw all of our bolts in. So first off, we're going to remove this fairing right here. It's easy. There's Phillips screw here, Phillips screw there, and then our bolts, and that's it. I have a lot of fairing videos, so let's do this as quick as we can. Behind this bolt, there's a nut on this side, I think. Yeah, there is. Drop the nut, I'll grab it after. Okay, next, we're going to want to keep going. And we're basically going to remove all the bolts off this one set of fairings. We have to remove the ones on the bottom here. They have a nut on the back of them as well. Excuse me, right here. And then, excuse me, right here. There's one right here too. We're not going to remove this upper one, so you don't have to worry about it. Just the one down here. Oh, that's it. This one's got a nut on the back of it too, so we can take it off. Okay. And then we're going to remove the one down at the bottom. So there's one right here, there's one underneath here, and then just 2 screws here. So we're going to go ahead and remove all that. Like I said, I just want to get this fairing off. So yeah, let's get these bolts off. All right. And there's only 2 you need to remove here of the screws. There we go, and then just one right underneath. There we go, and that was off. And that's it. Now we should be able to pop this fairing off. I think everything's removed now. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So now we should be able to pop the fairing off. Just like that. That's out of the way. Set it off to the side where it doesn't get stepped on. All right, so now we've got all of our clutch cover exposed, but before we can start opening this clutch cover, we got to drain the oil out of the bike. So we're going to do that to drain it. That's on the other side. So I'm going to get my bucket and stuff, and then we'll get started taking all the oil out of this. Okay, so we're down on this side of the bike. The reason we're on this side is we're going to drain the oil. Now, the oil drain plug is right there. It's a 24 millimeter, or you can use a 15/16. We'll take it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that and let the oil drain out of it. And that's it. So just give me a moment and I'll get that off and I'll meet you right back on the other side. So next thing we're gonna do is remove our clutch handle. Oh, goodness. Gotta loosen off the nut on the bottom first. There's a 10 mil nut you gotta loosen off. Okay. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So we put that nut in there. Now you have to line up your tensioner with the open spots on your handle so you can get the cable out. Like that. And we just remove our handle like that. We'll just put it off to the side. And now we can go back down to the other side where the clutch cable is, and we can get our clutch cable off so we can get that cover off. And drop that cable off of there. Like that, and we'll go ahead and remove it, and we'll just get it out of the way. It doesn't have to be like completely pulled out or anything. Now you're going to need an 8 mil socket and you want to go around this whole cover here, and we're going to take off all those all those bolts. It's best to have a piece of cardboard or something just to set this cover down on, so you don't have oil all over the place. So that's what I'm going to do in a moment here. I'm going to grab a piece of cardboard, and we'll get started taking this cover off. Alrighty. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to start removing all of these bolts. You don't have to take them right out right away. Just go around and loosen them all first. All right. I can go around and loosen them all. I'm just going to do this off camera because there's a lot of bolts and it's just going to be repetitive. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, now I'm going to remove the cover. So just a little tap with the mallet, just to move it a bit. Then we're going to pull it off, and we're going to try to make sure that the gasket all comes off so it doesn't rip. Oh, it's already ripped, I think. Oh no, it hasn't ripped yet. So, I'll work it off here. So if I don't have to change that gasket, I'm not gonna. Alright, I'm just gonna put that cover on a piece of cardboard. Just like that, so if it does leak oil, it's not going to leak all over my floor. Now I'm going to pull this little pin out right here. And it might not look exactly like this. There's different kind of pins that go into these clutches, but there's going to be a tab like this, and that's what engages the clutch when it's pushed in. So you can go ahead and remove that. This is an oil catch. We're going to remove the oil catch as well. I'm going to get my impact gun to do that because taking these screws out, they're usually pretty hard. So I'm going to, excuse me. So I'm going to get my impact gun. And we're going to take those out. Then we're going to get, inside there is where the bipolar socket is. We're going to have to get that on and take that bolt out too. So I'm just going to take a couple seconds, get all my stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, so now we're just going to get these screws out. There we go. Now we're going to remove that cap. Our screws up in our little dish here. Now we're going to go like that, and then we're going to go straight down. Boop. So right here, you'll notice inside here there's a bipolar, and this is our bipolar socket, and it will slip in there like that onto that nut, and then we'll take it off because this catch has to come off for the clutch to come off. So you're going to want an impact gun. There's no way you're going to be able to hold that and try to crank it off. Impact guns are the easiest way to get them off. I'm going to let the oil drain off a bit before I take it off, but you will need one of these sockets, and like I said, it's called a bipolar socket. I will make sure that they include a link to one off Amazon so you can find it easy. And yeah, so you're gonna need that for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead, get my impact gun, and let's get this off. Okay, I'm gonna get my impact here. All right, so you just have to line up the keys like that, and let's hit it. There we go. Over here. Now the clutch is not going to just pop right off. All these bolts have to come off first, and they're all 10 mils. So I'm going to actually push that tray back because I know I'm going to drop a bolt in that oil. And I hate doing that. So now I just need to grab my 10 mil. Because I didn't grab one yet. And we'll pop off all these bolts here. And then we'll get the clutch off. All right. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. I need the 8 mil. All right, well, I shall return. Oh, see that? Almost broke it. Now, for the last two, you just got to take them out gently. So a little bit and a little bit. So a little bit on that side. A little bit on that side. Just nice and slow. There we go. Just hold that for a minute. Okay. Now just take that out. And just keep this cap and put it off to the side. So this one has a snap ring on it. Now, if you don't have snap ring pliers, it's not a big deal. What you are going to need though is a small screwdriver. I'll show you how you go. You're not going to bend it, you're just going to pop it off. So just lift it, kind of let it come back. And then once you do that, your fingernail in there and just work around the shaft and slowly pop it off. There we go. In there, and it's not damaged or bent or anything. Put that down. Now we can pull the clutch off. On you. What's going on here? It's stuck for some reason. I'm gonna see what's holding that. Right. Okay, so never mind. I'm an idiot. I know exactly what's going on now. So this clutch is it's a little bit different. So you're gonna have to pull out your front of your pack, hold all your stuff together like that, and just keep that together. It'll keep the pack together, and then just set it down out of the way. Now behind that, there's a little retaining button. You want to turn it till you line it up with the top here where this one part slips out. And then you can take the rest of your clutch pack off, like that. All right, so now, I'm not going to change the clutch in this. I'm just going to show you how to do it. But if you're going to be putting in new plates, what you're going to do is you're going to take all these apart like this, and you'll notice when you put it down, when you put your new plate in, if you look on that side, there's a shoe, and the shoe goes to the flat, and then all you have to do is follow that with the next plate so that the flat is always on the shoe. So then a flat, and that's the way you're going to do it. You're going to actually start it from this side, but that's the way you're going to do it when you put it together. So if you notice, there's going to be the shoe against the flat, and we'll put that first one on. That ring is not on yet, so you put your first shoe on, then a ring, like that. Then you put a shoe on. Then you put a ring. Then you put another shoe on. Then another ring. And another shoe. And another ring. And you just keep repeating that till it's done. And keep those tabs all lined up while you're doing it. That. Now, I want to show you something else too. Before you even start that, like when you've got your new rings or your new pads, and you're gonna put them in. That's right. I'm gonna put this back in now too, like that, and then your pack is all back together. But your pack here, before you do this, if they're brand new, you want to soak these in oil and let them soak in oil for about 15 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes at least. Let the pad soak in the oil so it absorbs some oil before you put it in the bike. And then now we're just going to put everything back together. That's about it. So now that you've got your pack back together, first, we're going to put on the back of the clutch with the flywheel. And you've got to line it up in two places. You've got to line it up on that shaft right there. But you also have to line it up with this gear right here. There we go. Just like that. And your washer goes on that locks it in place. Like that. And your clutch pack goes on. You gotta line up all your pads here. There we go. Come on, you. Oh, I see. You want to make sure all these are lined up right. There we go. All right, so that is all in there correctly. Now we have to put our little C-clip back on. Again, it's not very difficult. I'm gonna push the top on a little bit, kind of move it around. Just hold it on with your thumb there. And you can just go around the there we go. It's nice and tight on there. Perfect. Now we can just line up our springs. And you just want to start too. There. Okay. Get all of them in. All right. Now we can tighten them in. And we'll go a little bit at the top. A little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom. Now we can go. There we go. And now our clutch is all back together. And now we just have to put our little oil collector there back on. And that's it. So oil collector goes on here. Nice. There we go. And the next one. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to tighten those up now. I actually have that bit here to do that. But don't over tighten anything, because if you do, And then the next time, if you ever have to take all this stuff off, it's going to be really tough to do. So just a little snug. And it'll also stop you from stripping these. So there we go. Now we're almost ready to put our cover back on. We're just going to get the gasket, put it on first, and then we'll get this all buttoned back up. All right. So we got, I cleaned up my gasket. It's not bad. It's not like, this is a brand new bike. It has no miles on it. I'm not going to change the gasket. It's brand new, so I'm just going to put it right back on. So I'm going to put my gasket back on the guides. If your bike is old and it's got some miles on it, definitely, and you've tore the gasket, definitely change it. But if it looks like this, put it back on. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, so now the back here, you'll notice if you pull the arm, there's a little pocket there. See a little pocket on that arm? So that pocket, so you have to hold this arm a bit when you're putting this case on, because that pocket lines up with this pin. So you want to make sure that little pocket on that cover lines up with there. So try to make it straight when you're putting the cover on. Then you can go ahead and put the cover on. You'll notice I've done this a lot of times and I don't even remove the bolts anymore. I just leave them in the cover. There we go. And now because I held that arm in the right place, now my cover went on. See how easy it went on? It just popped right on, and it's tight on the top and the bottom. There's no gaps anywhere. It's all the way in. So I'm gonna go ahead and this top one, I'm gonna tighten it in. And then I'm gonna tighten in one of the bottom ones. And then I'll just go around and tighten them all up. There we go. And just go across corner to corner. And you see how I've been just doing that? Some cross cover to cross cover to cross cover. That's the way you want to do it when you're reinstalling your cover like that. You don't want to just go around in a circle. Like I said, go from here to here and then over here to over here, and just keep cutting across the cover like that. And that's how you put your bolts back in. Now all we have to do is put our cable back on. Something else. If you're going to have some oil leak on your muffler or your exhaust a little bit, just wipe that off. It's going to smoke a bit when the bike starts, but the more you wipe off, the less smoke you'll have. You'll get a little bit of smoke, but just try to wipe it off a bit. There we go. Now our cover is all nice and clean. This is the perfect time to see if you see any dust or anything. Give it a wipe. Everything looks nice. There we go. So now we can go ahead and we can put our cable back on. When we go up to the top and we put our handle back on, it'll pull that clutch back to where it's supposed to be. So for now, we can just leave it like that. So now, We're going to come up, we're going to put our handle back on. And that will put our clutch wire back where it belongs. So you want to make sure you have your bolt handy. You know, it's not a big deal about the nut for now, but you want to make sure that you have the bolt that holds it in place. So this one, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put your cable inside your clutch handle. Line up your cable with your tensioner here so that it's where the cable has to go through. There. And then to put your clutch cable back, you let the handle do all the work for you. There we go. Just like that. Now I'll get my screwdriver. Put it down somewhere. There it is. And if we didn't touch this adjustment, we won't have to adjust the clutch. Okay, so put it down there, it's fine. Then you're going to take your 10 mil or your 10 mil nut here and put it back on the bottom. Now you tighten up, make sure to tighten up that nut with a wrench, but don't go too tight. A lot of people change this handle and they go too tight and it clamps down on the clutch, and then when you release your clutch handle, it won't release because it's too tight and it's binding it right here. So just make sure to tighten it, but don't tighten it so tight that it pinches the handle. All right, so our clutch is back on. Now if we come over this side, we can look down at our clutch and make sure it works. Yep, it's working perfect. And a good way to test it too is once we get that oil pan over there, is put it in gear and then pull your clutch. Make sure your bike rolls back and forth before you start. I already know that one's engaging right, so we don't need to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some oil in the bike. So you're going to want to go ahead and refill it up with oil again. And then you're going to just put the fairing back on and that'll be it. So I'm going to grab some oil. So I have to put oil in this bike too because I emptied it out. So I'm going to grab my funnel and we'll put some oil in it and then we'll get the fairing back on, and that's it, guys. Notice right in there's a round filter. Let's get in closer. Right there. I didn't take it out because this oil was brand new when I emptied it out. But next, what you're going to want to do is put that spring in. And this cap goes in right behind that spring. I can't hold my camera and do that, and then my stand doesn't go that low. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my spring and my cap back in and put that back on so I can put some oil back in it. Alrighty, so all there is left now is to put this fairing back on. So here we are. So this fairing has a couple of tabs. You're going to see them like this and like this and like this, and they're all the way up the top. They go into them little slots right here, right here, and right here. And that's how you know how your fairing gets in. So we're going to get here a bit so we can put that on and you guys can see it. I'm going to put the camera a tiny bit. So there. Now, we're just going to line all this up like that. And a little pop in like that. Good. Nice. Now I can start putting my bolts back in and let's get this bike finished up. So we're going to need our number 4. gonna put this one in first. Put the one in over here. I thought that one has an actual nut on the back of it. Well, there's actually one that goes up in the front there too. I might as well grab it right away. There we go. There. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to put the screws in at the front. Oh, one thing I did drop, there's a little clip right here that goes on the bottom here, the lines. There we go. Now we can go ahead. They're two smaller screws. Yeah. There we are. And we're going to put them in first. It's easier if I crank back the handlebars this way. And there's a bolt that goes down here. When you turn your bike like this, make sure and hold your handlebars. Because you don't want your bike to tip over on your head. Okay. Alrighty. So now there's just the last ones on the side. There's the ones here on the bottom. And here and here. And this one here also has a notch on it, back of it. So you just have to kind of line it up with the nut on the back. Okay. Now, there's one up here that has to go on. Goes right here. And then there's just one last fairing that has to go on. That's the one from under the seat, and it just goes on. Like I said, you have the same tabs on it. Round one right here goes in there, just like that. And there's two Phillips screws. One at the top right here. One goes up from the bottom right here. And we got the one that goes right there. And this one has a nut on the back of it, so you just go around here. There you go. And that's the last fairing, and that's it. So that's it, guys. That is how you change the clutch and the actual clutch or clutch pack on the X22R. So definitely like and subscribe, guys. We'd love to see you in the comments too, and hope to see you in the next video.